The Silent Invasion. The Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Confederation sparkled with the light of 1,000 stars, its transparent dome revealing the spiral arm of the galaxy that housed over 300 sentient species. Ambassador Velix of the Solarian Collective adjusted his translucent membrane, allowing his compound eyes to filter the excessive light. After serving 3 centuries in diplomatic service, very little surprised the veteran negotiator. Until the humans arrived. Earth had been discovered during a routine survey of supposedly uninhabited systems. The Confederation's exploration fleet had been shocked to find a civilization on the cusp of interstellar travel, having developed from primitive tool use to rudimentary spaceflight in less than 10,000 years. An unprecedented evolutionary sprint that defied all known developmental models. The humans have requested full membership status, announced High Arbiter Zorix, her voice echoing through the chamber. Their petition includes all required technological benchmarks and ethical standards. Murmurs rippled through the assembly. The Prulin delegation's tendrils writhed in agitation, while the crystalline Vexeri representatives refracted light in patterns indicating deep skepticism. They've barely achieved stable fusion, hissed Delegate Krex of the Ixid hierarchy. Their political structures still rely on geographic divisions. Half their planet doesn't even acknowledge the existence of the other half. Velix observed silently. He had studied the humans extensively since their discovery. Their resilience fascinated him. A species that had survived multiple near-extinction events of their own making. Their history was written in blood, yet they possessed art of devastating beauty. Their sciences advanced in reckless leaps rather than careful increments. Ambassador Velix, your assessment? Asked the High Arbiter. Rising to his full height, Velix's iridescent skin shifted to formal recognition patterns. The Solarian Collective recommends conditional admission with supervision protocols. The humans are unique. They learn at rates that defy our models and adapt to circumstances with remarkable flexibility. Their capacity for abstract thought exceeds many senior members. And their capacity for violence, challenged Krex. Considerable, Velix admitted, but diminishing as their civilization matures. They meet our ethical thresholds, if barely. The vote was contentious but ultimately favorable. Humanity received probationary membership with limited voting rights and restricted access to Confederation technology. The Galactic Confederation expected gratitude. They received polite acknowledgement instead. Within 5 years, humans had established embassies on 37 worlds. They learned alien languages at unprecedented rates, adapted to different atmospheric conditions with remarkable ease, and navigated the labyrinthine protocols of Confederation bureaucracy as if born to it. Their trade agreements were creative, their cultural exchanges enthusiastic, their diplomatic presence increasingly influential. They're integrating too quickly, Krex complained during a closed session of the Security Council. They'd formed alliances with 17 member species already. The Ardaxians have granted them mining rights in 3 systems. They offer favorable terms, replied Ambassador Tashin of the Ardaxian Combine. And fascinating perspectives. Have you spoken with their cultural attaches? Their art forms stimulate neural patterns never before recorded in our species. Velix remained watchful. Humans smiled too easily, agreed too readily, and asked too many questions. Their curiosity seemed boundless, their patience inexhaustible. They sent their youngest and brightest to serve on alien worlds, absorbing knowledge like the great sponge beings of Altair VI. Then came the Drakari incident. The Drakari Imperium, a militant species from the Galactic Rim, had long chafed under Confederation restrictions. When they discovered a resource-rich system just beyond Confederation space, they established mining operations immediately. The fact that humans had an unsanctioned research outpost on the system's 4th planet was, they claimed, irrelevant. The outpost's destruction killed 273 human scientists and their families. The human delegation filed a formal protest. The Confederation Council deliberated for 6 standard months before issuing a formal censure. the diplomatic equivalent of a disapproving glance. No sanctions were imposed. No reparations demanded. The human ambassador received the decision with an unsettling smile. "We understand. Thank you for your consideration." 2 days later, a Drakari mining vessel disappeared near the disputed system. Then another. Then a military patrol. Within weeks, 17 Drakari ships had vanished without distress signals or debris fields. The Drakari accused the Confederation of covert operations. Investigations revealed nothing. Velix requested a private meeting with the human ambassador. "Are your people responsible for the Drakari disappearances?" he asked bluntly. Ambassador Chen smiled politely. "What disappearances, Ambassador Velix? The Confederation investigation found no evidence of foul play." "I study your history," Velix continued. "Your species fights differently than ours. You don't posture. You don't threaten. When truly angered, you simply act." "An interesting anthropological observation," Chen replied, her smile unchanging. More disappearances followed. Not ships now, but entire outposts. Drakari mining colonies went silent overnight. Communications arrays stopped transmitting mid-message. Supply depots were found abandoned. Equipment still running. Meals left half-eaten. No bodies. No signs of struggle. No witnesses. The Drakari military mobilized, sending battle fleets to patrol their borders. These too began to vanish. Drakari representatives grew increasingly frantic in council sessions, demanding Confederation intervention. Surveillance of human activities intensified, revealing nothing unusual. Their fleet movements remained transparent, their military exercises observed and documented. Their diplomatic presence continued, unfailingly polite. Then the transmissions began. On every Drakari communication channel, in their own language, a simple message repeated, "You were warned." No source could be identified. No encryption broken. The messages simply appeared, as if originating from within the Drakari networks themselves. The Drakari Imperium, once proud and expansionist, withdrew from contested space. Their representatives spoke in whispers. Their once aggressive posturing disappeared overnight. When asked about the human outpost destruction, they denied all knowledge, offered reparations, begged for mediation. Too late. 6 months after the incident, the Drakari homeworld requested emergency admission of refugee ships. Billions were evacuating their core worlds, fleeing from an enemy they couldn't identify or fight. Their fleet, once the 4th largest in the galaxy, had been reduced to defensive pickets around evacuation centers. The Confederation Security Council convened an emergency session. Velix watched as the Drakari Supreme Commander, once arrogant and imposing, trembled before the assembly. "They're everywhere and nowhere," he whispered. "They take our ships from hyperspace without a trace. They walk through our security systems as if they don't exist. Our most secure facilities are compromised without alarms. They leave no evidence, make no demands. They simply remove us." "Who?" demanded High Arbiter Zorix. "Who is responsible?" The Drakari commander's eyes darted to the human delegation, then away. "The silent ones. The washers. The ones who do not forgive." Investigations intensified. The human fleet remained exactly where it should be, their military capabilities transparent and accounted for. Their diplomatic corps continued to function normally, though several noted that human representatives seemed to smile less, speak less, engage less. They attended meetings, fulfilled obligations, and maintained perfect compliance with all Confederation protocols. Yet something had changed. A coldness had entered their demeanor, a distance that hadn't been there before. 3 months later, the Drakari ceased to exist as a political entity. Half their population had fled to refugee camps across the sector. The other half had simply vanished. Their world stood empty, cities intact but devoid of life. Their ships drifted in space, systems operational but crews gone. 40 billion sentient beings, erased without a trace. In the emergency session that followed, No one directly accused humanity. The evidence remained circumstantial, the timing merely suspicious. Yet when the human ambassador rose to address the council, a hush fell over the chamber. The Confederation has consistently championed justice and accountability, Ambassador Chen stated calmly. Yet when our outpost was destroyed, justice was deemed inconvenient. Accountability was sacrificed for political expediency. We accepted your decision with respect. Her smile returned, cold and perfect. But humans have a saying. Actions have consequences. She resumed her seat without another word. As the session ended, Velix approached the human delegation. You've revealed nothing of your true capabilities, he observed quietly. The fleet we've been monitoring is exactly what we've claimed it to be, replied Chen. We've hidden nothing, Ambassador Velix. We've been completely transparent about your official forces, perhaps. But there's something else, isn't there? Something you never registered with the Confederation. For a moment, the ambassador's mask slipped. You're very perceptive, Ambassador, a quality sadly lacking in the Confederation leadership. I must warn them, Velix said. Chen's smile returned. Of course, that's your duty. The next day, Velix addressed the full Confederation Council. His warnings were stark, his recommendations urgent. Humanity had demonstrated capabilities far beyond their disclosed technology. They operated by rules the Confederation didn't understand. Traditional deterrence would not work. We face a species that does not fight as we do, he told the assembled delegates. They do not threaten before striking. They do not boast of their strength. When truly provoked, they simply eliminate what offends them, methodically and without remorse. They are utterly ruthless, yet perfectly measured in their response. What would you have us do? Asked the High Arbiter. Expel them from the Confederation. Impose sanctions based on suspicions. I would have you understand them, Velix replied. And never give them cause to turn their attention upon you. For if you anger Earth, may the gods of all worlds help you, for nothing else will. The awakened giant. The emergency alarm sounded throughout the Confederation's Central Command, its wailing tone piercing the usual serenity of the massive complex. Strategic Director Harzik burst into the monitoring center, his protective scales flaring with agitation. Report, he demanded. The duty officer, a Palaxian with exceptional multifocal vision, manipulated the holographic display. Unidentified fleet signatures, sir, appearing simultaneously in multiple sectors. How many vessels? Current count exceeds 3,000, sir. And rising. Harzik felt his primary heart stutter. Origin. Unknown. They're not using recognized drive signatures. No hyperspace distortion detected prior to appearance. They simply materialized. The strategic director studied the tactical display with mounting horror. The unknown vessels had appeared in perfect formation around key strategic points throughout Confederation space. Major fleet bases, communication hubs, jump gate nexuses. Their positioning was impeccable, their coordination flawless. Open a channel to the Security Council, Harzik ordered. Priority Alpha. The response came within minutes. The Security Council chamber, normally ordered and ceremonial, buzzed with barely contained panic. Representatives from the 12 most powerful Confederation species gathered around the emergency briefing table. We have confirmation, announced Admiral Thrix of Intelligence Division. The unidentified vessels match no known configuration, but their command frequencies. He paused, mandibles clicking nervously. They're human. Silence fell over the chamber. Impossible, whispered Counselor Grez of the Viridian Alliance. The human fleet consists of 147 registered vessels. We monitor their shipyards, their resource allocation. Their theoretical maximum construction capacity could not produce even a tenth of this force without detection. Yet here they are, replied Admiral Thrix. And they're hailing us. The main display activated, revealing a human female in a uniform no one recognized. Her insignia bore no resemblance to the official human military hierarchy the Confederation had documented and approved. "This is Admiral Helena Winters of the Earth Shadow Fleet," she stated without preamble. "We request an immediate emergency session of the full Confederation Assembly." "By what authority do you deploy unauthorized military forces in Confederation space?" demanded High Counselor Zorix. Admiral Winters smiled thinly. "By the authority of Earth. You have 1 hour to convene the Assembly. We will present our terms there." The transmission ended abruptly. "Terms," hissed Counselor Grez. "They dare to dictate terms to the Confederation." Ambassador Velix, present as an observer, spoke quietly. "We should comply. Those ships appeared without using known space-time transition methods. Consider the technological implications. They violated every Confederation military protocol," objected Admiral Thrix. "No member species may maintain undisclosed forces." "I suspect," Velix replied, "that they no longer consider themselves bound by our protocols." The Assembly convened in record time. 3,000 delegates from across the galaxy gathered in the Great Hall, murmuring anxiously as reports of the mysterious fleet spread. The human delegation entered last, Ambassador Chen leading a group that now included several military officers in the same unknown uniform. Admiral Winters took the podium without introduction. "For 5 years, humanity has participated in your Confederation," she began. "We have observed your laws, respected your boundaries, and studied your methods. We have learned much about galactic governance, interspecies diplomacy, and the distribution of power among the stars." Her gaze swept the Assembly, calm but unyielding. "We have also learned that the Confederation's founding principles of justice, security, and mutual protection are selectively applied. When our outpost was destroyed, killing hundreds of civilians, your response was bureaucratic indifference. You calculated the human lives were worth less than Drakari cooperation." Protests rose from various delegations. Admiral Winters waited, unmoved, until silence returned. "That calculation was incorrect," she continued. "Today we reveal what humanity has kept hidden, not out of deception, but as a safeguard. The Shadow Fleet was constructed in dimensional pocket space, using technology we developed independently. It exists outside normal spacetime until needed, requiring no conventional shipyards or resources you could monitor." Gasps and exclamations erupted across the chamber. The implications were staggering. A technology that could hide entire fleets from detection, that could bypass all known sensors and defenses. "We now present our non-negotiable terms for continued cooperation," Winters announced. "First, a complete reorganization of the Confederation's security protocols, with equal protection guaranteed to all member species regardless of political influence. Second, immediate implementation of accountability measures for aggression, with mandatory military response to attacks on civilian targets. Third, humanity will maintain independent defensive capabilities without oversight or restriction." High Ardor Zorix rose from her seat. "These demands violate the fundamental structure of the Confederation. No single species may dictate terms to the collective." "We are not dictating," Ambassador Chen interjected smoothly. "We are informing. The choice to accept or reject these terms remains yours, but choose wisely." "And if we refuse?" challenged Counselor Krex. Admiral Winters responded with chilling simplicity. "Then humanity will withdraw from the Confederation and establish its own sphere of influence, with defensive boundaries we deem appropriate. Those boundaries may not align with current territorial agreements." The implication hung in the air like a blade. With the technology they had demonstrated, the ability to appear anywhere without warning, to build massive fleets in undetectable space, humanity could render the Confederation's carefully balanced power structure meaningless overnight. What followed was the most contentious debate in Confederation history. Some counseled immediate military response, a unified strike against the human worlds before their advantage grew insurmountable. Others argued for appeasement, for buying time while developing countermeasures. The wisest voices urged genuine reform, acknowledging that the humans had exposed real flaws in the Confederation's structure. 3 days later, a compromise was reached. The Confederation would implement enhanced security guarantees and stricter accountability for aggression. In exchange, humanity would register their shadow fleet and submit to limited oversight, though they maintained the right to deploy independently if the Confederation failed to respond to future threats. As the new accords were formalized, Ambassador Velix approached the human delegation once more. "You could have demanded much more," he observed. "With your technological advantage, you could have dictated any terms you wished." Admiral Winters studied him thoughtfully. "That was never our goal, Ambassador. Humanity doesn't seek dominance. We seek a galaxy where the strong cannot prey upon the weak with impunity." "And yet," Velix replied, "you have demonstrated that you possess precisely the power to do exactly that." "The difference," interjected Ambassador Chen, "is that we choose not to. Not unless provoked beyond reason." Velix's membrane rippled with what humans might interpret as a smile. "And therein lies both the hope and the terror of your species. You possess the power to dominate, but refrain. Until the moment you don't." As the delegates dispersed, Velix addressed the assembly one final time. His warning echoed through the hall, recorded for posterity in the Confederation archives. "Remember the Drakari. Remember how they vanished without a trace when they angered Earth. The humans have shown us mercy by revealing only a fraction of their capabilities. They have given us a chance to reform, to become better than we were. Let us not waste this opportunity. For if we once again give humans cause to set aside their restraint, may all the gods of all worlds help us. For nothing else will." In the years that followed, the Confederation changed profoundly. The shadow of human technological superiority hung over every deliberation, every strategic decision. Yet humanity never abused their advantage. They participated fully in the reformed systems, contributed to collective security, and shared certain technologies, though never the secrets of their dimensional engineering. Other species studied them with newfound respect, tinged with healthy fear. They noted how humans fought only when provoked, but fought with terrifying efficiency. How they forgave, but never forgot. How their anger, when finally roused, came not as hot rage, but as cold, implacable purpose. Across the galaxy, a new saying entered diplomatic discourse, whispered when tensions rose or aggression threatened. "May the gods help you when humans go mad." For the greatest revelation was not that humans possessed superior technology or hidden fleets. It was that they had achieved something far more rare in the cosmos, the perfect balance between civilization and savagery, between restraint and ruthlessness. They had mastered themselves without sacrificing their strength, and in doing so, they had changed the stars forever.